Well, good afternoon to you and welcome into this edition of First Alert Weather Extra for this Thursday, a partly cloudy day. There are a couple of showers around, certainly good news, but before we get to the weather of the day, we'll go ahead and talk about this. You may have seen it elsewhere. I posted it on my Facebook a little earlier today, but remember, these numbers mean nothing. This is the hurricane seasonal numbers. The first forecast from Colorado State came out today, but remember, my theory on this, you should always prepare every season as if a hurricane could threaten southwest Louisiana, because one, no matter how many are in the forecast, there's no way to know where any storm would go in particular until one develops. That's the first thing. Next thing, it does not matter how many storms there are. If there's one storm in a season, which would be extremely quiet, if that one storm hits our area, it's a bad season. And on the flip side of that, if it's a very active season where the numbers are well above average and none of those hit here, that's a good season, at least for our perspective here in southwest Louisiana. That's why I really don't like to get caught up in these numbers, because it doesn't tell you, the public, anything other than just the sheer number may be lower. And to be very honest, I think Colorado State's being a little too ambitious here with the numbers. They'll probably be lower than this if the signals that we're seeing come to fruition. That signal being that El Nino may be relatively strong. We'll keep you updated, but I always add this little tidbit when we talk about these seasonal numbers. 1992 was an El Nino year, and that produced Hurricane Andrew. So don't read too much into thinking that quiet is good either. Bottom line, June 1st, which we're still a month and some change away from, you should be prepared to know what you would do should a storm threaten southwest Louisiana. But let's hope and pray that that is not the case. We'll, of course, keep you updated should anything happen. Once again, our weather is quiet. We'll leave the tropical talk again until we get to hurricane season. Thankfully, a look at the visible satellite. There are a few clouds around. You can actually see some of these clouds that have bubbled up and produced a couple of showers over, once again, Calcasieu and into southern portions of Beauregard. You can actually see those clouds bubbling up. That's the atmosphere allowing the moisture to rise and condense and produce clouds, and yes, even some rain. There's a look at the radar now. As you can see, there is one shower out here in northwestern Calcasieu Parish, places like out along Houston River, seeing some rain just west of Highway 27, seeing some showers. That's out along Route 66, out along Highway 12, out between DeQuincy and the Lanita community, which is areas that actually saw rain yesterday. So even better for you guys to get 2 days in a row with some showers around. And obviously some of this is moving into southwestern Beauregard Parish as well. That's out southeast of Highway 109. You can see the rain there. That is moving off to the northwest. Even some of you in DeQuincy may see some cooling effect from this shower in the next, I'd say, 10 to 20 minutes. Elsewhere, I don't see much. I will admit, though, sometimes real close to the radar, some tiny showers can get lost in this mess of clutter. I know that because I actually saw some rain here in the city of Lake Charles about an hour and a half or so ago, and it didn't really show up on radar very well just because it gets mixed in so close to the radar site. Elsewhere, not really seeing anything as far as rain is concerned. And I show you this sometime. We'll come back to this product. This is the smoke product, which obviously we talk about when we're dealing with fire situation and whether something's a fire. Well, here's the reverse of that. Anytime where you see it's not in blue, hence this kind of red or magenta coloration here where it's raining, that means that is rain. The radar, once again, the way that works, it can tell the shape of whatever it's hitting, whether it's a uniform shape or in kind of an oblong or spiky looking shape. Obviously, raindrops, when they fall, are fairly uniform in size or shape because it's a droplet of water that is falling. The gravity and the atmosphere causes that raindrop to elongate, but it's smooth. versus something like a smoke particle, or if we were tracking severe weather, tornado, debris, those type of things are not going to be a normal shape. That's going to be, if it's smoke particles, little tiny burnt ash that may be in the sky and whatnot, that the radar can tell the difference in that shape. It's easier for it to do that closer to the radar, but I thought we'd do some reverse on this, since we normally show it to you when it's something blue that's showing up, which would be smoke or debris if it was severe weather, but thankfully it is neither of those situations. Temperatures right now in the upper 70s to low 80s. Looks like 81 degrees at both Fort Polk and at Oakdale, the two warmest spots. The temperatures a couple of degrees warmer than yesterday for most of us. Winds are still southeasterly. Humidity levels are definitely higher. You'll notice that the change in dew points is higher north of Interstate 10. That's because yesterday you guys had not seen quite the increase in humidity levels that the rest of us had, but today that change has been more noticeable. Hence the 10 to 12 degree change north of I-10 versus along I-10. Dew points are only about 5 to 7 degrees higher than yesterday. A look at Futurecast, doing a pretty good job showing the potential for a couple of these showers around now. I think they'll fade away pretty quick after sunset. Overnight, we will be dry to start off our Friday morning. Temperatures starting off tomorrow morning, low 60s for the most part. Two exceptions, Oakdale and some other more rural areas that get cooler might reach the upper 50s. The other exception is near the coast, where I think it's more mid to maybe even upper 60s to start our Friday morning. Then looking ahead to tomorrow, a couple of isolated showers, maybe a few more than what we saw yesterday or today. But I do still want to stress, I don't foresee it raining everywhere all day tomorrow. Best chance would be from, let's say, about 1 p.m. through about 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. As always, you can use our First Alert weather app to track any of those that may pop up. The culprit for that is what I've talked about all week long. Little disturbance off to the west of us. High pressure is moving farther to the east, but that high I still think is going to keep more of the moisture bottled up over Texas, which is where the better rain chance may be. By Saturday, this disturbance weakens and goes away, and that just leaves us with pretty much the same pattern what we saw, especially yesterday. I think Saturday's forecast looks a lot like yesterday. And remember, there were a couple of showers yesterday, and yes, I still think there could be 1 or 2 isolated showers on our Saturday, but they are going to be very limited at best, if we see any at all. Same story for Sunday. So if you got outdoor plans this weekend, I would still encourage you to at least plan to keep an eye on the sky, but at this point, it doesn't look like rain is going to be a big issue. And even into next week, unfortunately, I still don't see a significant chance of rain anytime soon in this forecast, meaning tomorrow is the most likely day to see rain, probably of the next at least 5 to 7 days ahead. So let's hope we can get a few of those showers coming up tomorrow. There's the full 10-day forecast. As I said, rain chances highest tomorrow at 30%, maybe again toward the end of next week, a couple of isolated showers. That's a week out, so we've got time to monitor how that may progress with time. Once again, the weekend looks warm. It is going to be more humid. And speaking of more humid, I think our morning low temperatures will continue to climb with time as we go into next week. Upper 60s, possibly even staying closer to 70 for a morning low into next week. Now, quick look at your marine forecast. Easterly winds likely still a bit breezy, 15, maybe upwards of 20 knots. There is a small craft advisory in effect per the National Weather Service as well. Seas may run 2 to 4 feet. I don't think it's going to be as windy over land as it will be out over the water, but just a heads up, probably not the best of boating days tomorrow. If you're trying to do fishing anyway, best times looks to be around 8 o'clock in the morning, also around 8 p.m. just after sunset, but there still may be enough light there with sunset at 7:37 tomorrow night. Good time looks to be around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. One more check of our 10-day forecast. High temperatures every day, well above average in the low 80s. We're still supposed to only reach the mid 70s for afternoon highs this time of year. So if you're like me and you like it warm, you're going to love this forecast. The only part I wish I could say that we had, because we need it, is more rain in this forecast. But let's hope tomorrow at least brings some scattered showers. And let's hope we spread that wealth around too, not raining over the same areas. No offense to those of you that have seen rain either yesterday or today, or in a few cases both. I'd love to see everyone have a shot of seeing some of those showers. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of First Alert Weather Extra. I'll be back here tomorrow with another update. And of course, I'll be on television coming up now in about 15 minutes over on KPLC. Hope you guys have a great evening and back to regular programming here on our streaming devices now.